Hey guys, Arif here. How's it going and welcome back. Well, it's duck season, but we're not going around hunting for real ducks. The only ducks we're hunting for is this one. Pun intended, because this is the Ducky one TKL RGB. So basically, if you've dreamt of the Ducky one, or I should say the original ones, in a TKL form factor and you wish for the RGB lighting that's available from the Shine 5, here you go. This is the child of both the Ducky 1s and the Ducky Shine 5s. So this is what you get, is the Ducky 1 design. Actually, the design is exactly the same, albeit a little bit shorter and with RGB lighting. To demonstrate, I'm going to activate its holy grail of RGB lighting. There you go. Well, not that one, but I'm going to press it again. Yes, there you go, RGB lighting. So in terms of design, it's actually similar to the Ducky 1s because they are the same keyboard except a bit shorter. And this time we went with a stealthy black color instead of an orange color. It was funky, it was fun, but it's time to go stealthy with a black color as well as a red switch version. So it's much quieter if you put those O-ring dampeners, which is pretty sweet. So yes, it features that thin bezel design. As you can see, they are very Asian hand friendly. As you can see, I'm holding it right here, and this is proof. Other than that, in terms of rigidity, I would say it's much improved compared to the original ones because it's much shorter right now. So as you can see, if I try to flex it, there isn't much flex anymore because the previous one was much longer and you can feel it flex a bit but it won't break, and this time it's much harder to flex. And I would say, knocking it, you feel the standard ABS plastic construction, which is strong enough. Trying to break this with your bare hands would require the strength of a majestic brown bear. Other than that, I would say it's a pretty strong keyboard, and I would say it's one of my top recommendation lists for a gaming keyboard that you can actually bring around reasonably. Unless you're comparing with something like a poker or the 60% keyboard from Ducky, but well, those are for different purposes. I would say this one is more suited towards a normal person because all the keys are there. So if you're looking for more fun factor, the 60% keyboard or the poker keyboards are actually more fun. This one is more for standard use, and from the get-go it's much easier to use for anyone. Now, just for the sake of you guys, we're going to go over the external designs thoroughly so we can actually make sure nothing has changed. Well, from the front, here's the Ducky logo down there, the dots right here with translucent design so you can see the light penetrating through there. And apart from that, nothing has actually changed. It looks much like a regular Ducky one. And yeah, that's about it for the front. We're going to go around the back and see that nothing has changed as well. So that's a nice thing to see. As well as you can see, 4 rubber pads here to actually keep it nicely in place. The 2-stage feeds means you can actually unfold it in 2 levels if you want to adjust it to actually find a very nice spot for you. As well as the detachable micro USB cable, so it actually makes it much more easier to store. As well as if you lose it or you break the cable, you can just find any old micro USB to full-size USB cable and it will work just fine. And you can see right here is the cable management routes, which I like from the Ducky one, though it does make the cable go at a certain awkward angle and it feels like it might actually cause some problems down the line. But I would say it's one of the strong suits for the Ducky is that the cable is actually quite stiff and it's actually quite strong. I would say it's not braided, but I would say it's actually quite good enough, as well as it's actually gold plated at the end, so that's something to note. Next, we're going to go through some of the softwareless design. Like I mentioned before, the Ducky 1 TKL RGB is like the child between the Ducky 1 as well as the Ducky Shine 5. It inherits the RGB-ness from the Shine 5, inheriting all its traits in RGB colors, as well as inheriting the onboard menu system that most of us has come to love or hate, but we'll get through it anyway if you already have one and you would like to actually set it up to your heart's content. We're going to show you the basics on how you actually operate the thing. So yes, this one comes with 2 color modes, especially one is the single color mode, which is available on the other Ducky keyboards, for example like the Ducky 1, and also you can change the colors because this one is RGB. And there's another mode called the RGB LED blending mode, which is basically making use of all 16.8 million colors on the keyboard. Well, firstly, we're going to go through the single color LED mode. By pressing F and F9, there are 8 available modes you can toggle through. Basically, it's full backlight on, as well as wave mode, ripple mode, aurora mode, as well as snake marquee mode, and finally is full backlight off. That is all the modes that are available for the single color LEDs. As you can see, I'm going to show a demonstration right now. It's going to cycle through all these modes. And as well, if you want to actually customize the colors, you can, because they are RGB. So you can either go through F and F5 to actually change the colors. For example, I'm going to change it to full backlight on right now, and I'm going to change the colors. As you can see, it's changing right now. So it goes through F5, F6 and F7, which goes through red, green and blue respectively, and pressing F and F8 will actually clear all the colors. For example, right now I'm going to press it here, and there you go, all the colors are gone. As well, if you want to actually select a specific color but you don't want to go through all the hassle of pressing F5, F6 and F7, you can press Fn and spacebar. Boom, you can see all 108 keys are lit in all shades of color. So basically you press the key that you want and the keyboard will light up. For example, I would like this nice balance between these turquoise and green, so I'm going to press it right there, and there you go, it lights up in that color. So if I want it again, I just press again, and there you go, it lights up as normal. So change, it's that easy. So now we're going to go through the RGB LED blending mode, which makes use of the full RGB spectrum compared to the single color mode, which uses solid colors. In this case, you can see it cycles through all the available colors, and the difference here is that it uses F and F10 to toggle through the available modes. There are 8 of them. The only differences is that it omits and puts in new ones like the color cycling mode, raindrop mode and ripple mode advanced. So that's the only difference, and it uses the full RGB spectrum. And other than that, there are not much differences here. And finally, to actually toggle the animation speed, for example, I'm going to choose one right now, F and F10. Let's see, yes, this one, or let's say not this, not this, not this. Yeah, this one. So Fn and the left arrow key will slow down the animation. For example, now this is slowed down, and you can actually increase the speed. As you can see, now it looks like rainbow unicorns flying through the air. Now with all this RGB and customizability goodness, it's sad to say if you can't actually customize it to your liking. For example, if I want just a profile for gaming, I just want to light up this certain amount of keys, like for example my skill keys, and not want to be bothered by the other colors. Or if I want just one setting just for my productivity, for example, it's either Lightroom or Photoshop shortcut keys that are color coded to my liking. Well, you can actually do that. It's by using CM1 and CM2, which is custom mode 1 and custom mode 2. They're giving you 2 profiles to select from. How you select them is basically by pressing F and F11 for CM1 and F and F12 for CM2. But currently, if I press them, nothing will happen. That's because there's nothing recorded to them. How you record to them is by pressing Fn print screen for CM1 and Fn pause for CM2. For example, I'm going to show you right now. By pressing it, you can see 4 keys have lit up right there. But how do you actually select which key I want lit and which color? By pressing caps lock F5, F6 or F7, it toggles through red, green or blue just like before. And for example, I'm going to show you right now, I want a red, for example, TVU. And there it goes, red color for there. And I want to clear that. How do I clear that? Is by pressing caps lock and F8. That clears all the colors. And this time I want a mixture between a little bit of red and a little bit of green. So you can see right here is a little bit of greenish yellow, and I want GH there. There you go. But if you, let's say if you make a mistake and you want to clear off the color, how will you do that? By pressing caps lock and F8, it clears the color from there. As you can see, it's zeroed out. So you press the key that you do not want and it will just blank out. To complete the entire recording is by pressing caps lock as well as scroll lock. That will finish the recording, and every time you go to that custom profile, it will bring back the memory and it actually shows you whatever you set last time. Pretty neat. Also, there are 6 other macro profiles which are selectable using Fn number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The default one is number 1, and how you set all these macros is by actually checking out the manual. You can download it online or it comes with it. You can just check it out. It's really good. It's well written, easy to understand, all that stuff. Or you can check out KelvinPixels.com for more details. So we finally reached the end of this review, and what do I think of the Ducky 1 TKL RGB? I would say there is nothing much to say, to be honest, because I've said all I can for the Ducky 1's original, and this one basically is the same thing, except it's much shorter. But I would say in terms of build quality, it's a little bit better in terms of strength because it's harder to flex compared to the original ones. This one is actually much more rigid. But in terms of build materials, they're actually the same, just because more of the strength is focused on a much smaller design rather than a more spread out one. So yeah, what is this for actually? If you want a full size, actually not really full size, but a fully featured keyboard, but you don't want to carry around the bulkiest keyboard that has a lot of macro switches everywhere and it won't be able to fit in your bag, this one I would say is one of my top recommendations. Well, if you would say in terms of size compared to the Mini 60% or even like poker keyboards, they are in a different league. Those are actually much more travel friendly, but they are in their own league. They are not really meant, for example, for gaming because their size is really small, but they have certain fun factors to it. And this one is different as well. This one is like actually providing as much as possible while minimizing as much as possible. So it's minimalistic, it's simple, it works, as well as it tries to pack a lot of features into a small, simple design. And I would say it's one of my top recommendations if you want to travel. For example, if you want to go to LAN parties, you don't want to bring around a very big bulky keyboard, you can bring this. As well as you can show your bling with the magnificent RGB-ness. So yes, if you want a TKL form factor keyboard, this is one of my top recommendations. So this has been my review of the Ducky One TKL RGB. Do like and subscribe, and do check out canonpixels.com for more reviews and other content. Thank you, see you in the next one.